The news screens across the city were practically screaming doomsday. Headlines about monsters, mysterious disasters, and cosmic nonsense flashed one after another, leaving people in various shades of mildly panicked to, "Oh well, guess I'll die." At the school entrance, however, the students had gathered for something far more catastrophic than world-ending monsters: gossip. "Bro, this is just another hype train," one kid scoffed, waving at the glowing news ticker. "Remember the zombie rumors last year? Fake, fake, fake." But their attention shifted the moment Shui Qingzi appeared, the school flower, the girl everyone pretended not to stare at but absolutely stared at. "Oh, here she comes," someone whispered. The gossip floodgates burst open immediately. "Didn't she just break up with her boyfriend? Yeah, apparently she was just settling for him. She got into a top university while he couldn't even make it into an ordinary college. Harsh." But honestly, their futures were never compatible. She's like Ivy League. He's the local cafeteria menu. Wait, what was his name again? Fani? Fungi? Fangi. Pretty sure it's Fangi. As if summoned by sheer gossip magic, Fangi appeared right in front of Shui Qingzi. The crowd leaned in, ready for free front row drama. Shui Qingzi, perfectly composed as if she'd rehearsed this in a mirror, spoke calmly. "I've made up my mind. Our relationship isn't realistic anymore. High school love usually ends with that one realization, that we were never truly right for each other. A lasting relationship needs equal standing and courage. So, let's break up. Even if you tried everything, my decision wouldn't change." The crowd held its collective breath. This was the part where the poor fool was supposed to beg pathetically for another chance, right? Fangi stared with a blank face. Shui Qingzi thought, wow, is he so stunned he can't even talk? The peanut gallery whispered. "He's frozen. Bro's about to cry. Poor dude's still dreaming above his league." Finally, Fangi opened his mouth. "Alright. Just like that. No drama. No begging. Just a casual shrug of the soul." Shui Qingzi blinked. "Wait, what? That's it? If there's nothing else, I'll leave." Fangi added, brushing it off like someone declining extra rice at lunch. He turned to go. "Wait." Shui Qingzi called after him, confused and oddly offended by how unbothered he was. "No matter what you think or do, I will never come back to you." Fangi glanced back, eyes calm, voice cool. "Don't overestimate your importance. You're just the school flower." Boom. The crowd silently gasped. That wasn't just rejection, that was a headshot. Shui Qingzi stood frozen, speechless for the first time anyone could remember. Meanwhile, Fangi waved the whole conversation off like a bad sales pitch. "I'm too busy for this. Goodbye." And just like that, he walked away. A few students muttered in disbelief. "Wait, that's it? It's over? Breakup speedrun any %. Bro didn't even flinch. Coldest man alive." But while the crowd was reeling from the school's hottest drama, Fangi's mind was elsewhere. These people have no idea. Shui Qingzi, degrees, gossip, all meaningless. The world is about to collapse. I'm not the boy they once knew. I'm someone who has returned, from the future. Because last night, Fangi had seen it. Flashback, cosmic customer support. The night before, Fangi had been swallowed by strange visions. Shattered images spun around him as if reality itself had tripped over its own shoelaces. Then a countdown appeared before his eyes. 361 days until the revival of spiritual energy. And with it, monsters, chaos, and the complete bulldozing of society's rules. Degrees? Worthless. Reputation? A joke. Bank accounts? As useless as expired coupons. The message declared. A new era is coming. Power will be the only currency. The strong will rise as spiritual practitioners. The weak will be trampled. Naturally, Fangi did the reasonable thing. He panicked. Floating in a cosmic void, he shouted. "Who's there?" The void responded with blinding light and energy, blasting him like the world's rudest PowerPoint presentation. A glowing panel appeared. System activated, end of universe protocol online. Supreme algorithm engaged. Spiritual techniques will be generated from spiritual beings the user touches. Current techniques 0. Fangi stared at it, thinking, well, that's something. Then, without warning, a colossal beast with glowing red eyes lunged straight out of the interface. Lightning crackled, jaws wide open, chaos everywhere. Fangi's past life flashed before his eyes. He remembered being an ordinary, powerless human, running through collapsing streets as mutated beasts devoured everything. His homeland burned, his friends died, and in the end, he perished too, consumed by despair and hatred. But in that moment of death, his will to fight back had burned hotter than the flames around him. And somehow, the system had chosen him. Present. Now, standing among gossiping classmates, Fangi's golden-lit eyes carried a new weight. This year, I will change everything. I will use every event, every chance, every battle. Petty love stories and high school drama? They're behind me. Ahead lies the rise of spiritual power, and the end of the world as they know it. The system's voice echoed in his mind. User bound. path initiated. Everything in the world can be used to forge techniques. Fangi smiled faintly, walking away from Shui Qingzi as if nothing had happened. After all, who cared about a breakup when the apocalypse was about to begin? Meanwhile, in the wider world, the officials of Xia went on TV with straight faces and doomsday-level seriousness. Citizens, humanity is facing an unprecedented crisis. Forget your textbooks, your degrees, your carefully memorized math formulas. They're useless now. You must adapt to the unknown. Very reassuring. Truly confidence-inspiring. Fangi, standing among a crowd of half-bored students, thought, yep. This is it. The beginning. The officials weren't even pretending to calm the public. No, everything is under control. No, trust the government. Just good luck, don't die. Nearby, someone's phone buzzed with an emergency alert. The screen flashed bizarre images, distorted landscapes, twisted animals, a big red warning. People muttered uneasily. Strange. Fangi narrowed his eyes. In the old timeline, news like this would have been instantly censored. Zia's way was usually subtle. They didn't scream. We're all gonna die. They'd issue indirect warnings like, please wear sunscreen, and also maybe build an underground bunker just in case. It was slow. It was tiring. But at least it didn't evolve into rioting and looting like the neighboring countries. For Fangi though, every strange thing had a new meaning. The system had told him anything unusual could become a source of power. So when his phone flashed a new headline, highest UV levels in a century at King Chan University, freshmen please bring sunscreen, he didn't laugh it off like everyone else. The students around him chuckled. Wow, the university paid to trend, huh? Extreme UV? Bro, my skin's already fried, nothing new. Fangi ignored them. He looked up at the sky. The clouds above didn't match the warning reports. Even stranger, his phone showed the UV index at 0. Yet King Chan University, just 15 minutes away, was supposedly cooking under lethal sunlight. He smiled. So it begins. Welcome to King Chan University, where the sun hates you. By the time Fangi arrived at the north gate, the casual sunscreen notice had turned into something biblical. The sun blazed unnaturally, scorching the ground. Students ran, shrieking as the heat became unbearable. But Fangi? Calm. Cool. Watching glowing motes of light float lazily in the burning air like fireflies from hell. He crouched and touched one. Zap zap. The light pulsed and exploded into him. Ag hey! The crowd gasped. Some shaded their eyes. Others whipped out their phones. Bro just went Super Saiyan. No dude, that's Ultra Instinct. Nah, that's gotta be DLC powers. Pay to win, I swear. Meanwhile, Fangi screamed as solar energy tore through his veins. His skin burned, his vision exploded into golden light, and for a moment, he genuinely thought he was about to die. Then, the system chimed in like a smug video game announcer. Solar attribute template activated. Congratulations. Golden sun breathing technique acquired. Light erupted from his body. His hair turned white, his eyes blazed gold, and lightning danced around him. The bystanders? Absolutely losing their minds. He looks like a god. Or a glowing rotisserie chicken, can't tell. Meanwhile, the freshmen welcome. At the university's registration area, the mood couldn't have been more different. Shui Qingzi arrived, instantly stealing the spotlight as multiple boys tripped over themselves to offer help. Need help with your luggage? Join my club, we have air conditioning. Free flyers. Take one, it's limited edition. Shui Qingzi rejected them all with a polite but firm. Thanks, but no need. She stood beside her new classmates, unimpressed. These boys are hopeless. Completely love-struck. Then the explosion of light hit. Boom! The ground trembled, the sky lit up, and every student turned to see the north gate glowing like the sun had decided to attend orientation. The loudspeakers crackled. Attention! Please stay away from the north gate due to, an incident. Shui Qingzi's eyes narrowed. Something strange is happening again. At the north gate. The scene was chaos. Smoke, flames, glowing energy. And Fangi standing in the middle of it, radiating like the second coming of the sun god. The system panel hovered before him. Golden sun breathing technique unlocked. Writing points gained, 59. Writing points? He muttered. What the hell do I need, an essay grade? Whatever. Must be useful. As the golden aura surged around him, the system clarified further. By staring at the sun and breathing in solar heat, user may strengthen their body. So basically, become powerful by roasting yourself alive. Great. The crowd formed quickly. Some students screamed. Some laughed nervously. Some swore they felt the temperature drop instead of rise. Then the president of King Chan University stormed in with security. Why are you all still here? Warnings were issued. Back to check-in or you lose points. A hooded officer barked. Seal the north gate immediately. Re-establish the perimeter. The president, sweaty but authoritative, nodded. Another system notification flashed in front of Fangi. Contaminated zone level 1 purified. He froze. Wait. Contaminated zones are officially recognized? The government already knows about spiritual energy? Before he could think further, a broadcast thundered. All unrelated individuals must evacuate the north gate immediately. Military forces rolled in, rifles raised, sealing the area. The crowd buzzed with fear and confusion. Are those soldiers? What's going on? Why does it feel like a sci-fi movie? Fangi clenched his fists. Too many eyes. Too much attention. Time to go. Without hesitation, his golden aura flared, and with a powerful leap, he launched himself skyward, leaving the stunned crowd behind. The hooded officer stepped through the smoke like he'd just come out of a video game cutscene. He knelt, scooped up a glittering shard from the ground, and held it to his eyes. A crystal fragment. This event wasn't an accident, he murmured darkly. Someone has already begun resonating with spirit energy. Security barked orders, shooing away the crowd like pigeons. The officer ignored the chaos, still studying the fragment with the calmness of a man who probably collected weird rocks in his childhood. Nearby, Shui Kingzi froze. Spirit energy? Did humans cause this? Her mind replayed the glowing figure she thought she'd glimpsed earlier. Could that shadow have been Fani? She shook her head immediately. Don't be ridiculous. Fani? The guy who barely scraped through exams? As if he could even get into King Chan University. That evening, Fani versus his own sweat. At home, the sun set, but Fangi was still roasting alive. He lay sprawled on his bed, drenched in sweat like a man who'd lost a fight with his own air conditioning. Cold showers? Useless. Ice packs? Melted in seconds. Air conditioning? Might as well have been a hairdryer. He groaned. At this rate, I won't sleep tonight. I'll just evaporate. As he wiped his face, another worry hit him. What if today's chaos exposed me? Grabbing his phone, he scrolled through the trending news. Sure enough, a post from the Spirit Energy Practitioners Association was blowing up. He frowned. That weird online forum? The one that used to post cultivation memes nobody took seriously? The announcement looked different now. Official formatting, government watermark, a full list of cultivation ranks. The Zia country seal gleamed at the bottom. It's real. In his past life, he'd never seen this. Back then, he was just an ordinary guy running for his life, not browsing online manuals. Now, it seemed the government was openly acknowledging early awakeners. Sitting cross-legged on the bed, he muttered. Fine. If the world's gone official with this, then I'd better get serious. He closed his eyes, inhaling deeply. The heat surged again, but he forced his breathing to steady. Flames of golden energy flickered, then swirled. Slowly, his body lifted off the mattress. Step 1, strengthen the body into a vessel. Step 2, become a living weapon. Form of the divine axe. He commanded. Energy roared. Golden light condensed. The system chimed. Congratulations. Breakthrough to Ghost Axe 1-star rank. Another notification popped up. 50 writing points available. Oh right, I forgot about those. The system explained, writing points could forcibly embed power into anything. Fangi blinked. Anything? Like anything? To test, he picked up a mug. The system politely asked. Embed sun attribute into mug? Cost, 1 writing point. Why not? The mug glowed like the Holy Grail. Fangi smirked. So it works. Which means a sword, a gun, anything could become a divine weapon. His eyes drifted to the sheathed sword in his case. Soon. But I need to test more first. Midnight rabbit problem. Outside, under the moonlight, something stirred in the forest. A mutated beast crept closer, glowing red eyes glinting in the dark. Black feathers bristled along its body as it crouched low. Yes. A rabbit. A rabbit of nightmares. Inside his apartment, Fangi groaned, coughing. He shifted on his bed before suddenly sitting up. His ears twitched metaphorically, his new senses sharper than ever. Coughing. Not mine. Not normal. He stepped into the living room, listening. The sound echoed from the corridor. Opening the door a crack, he peered out. And there it was. The red-eyed, feathered mutant rabbit. Even with memories from his past life, the sight made his skin crawl. The beast twitched, sniffing the air. Its glowing eyes locked onto the hallway. Damn it, Fangi whispered. Elsewhere, rooftop girl. High above, a helicopter swept the city with its spotlight. On a rooftop stood a girl with long hair, casually licking a lollipop like the apocalypse was just her night shift. The rabbit who consumed the dark spirit fruit is still on the loose, she said into her comms. Speed is abnormally high. Keep tracking. With that, she launched off the rooftop, flipping through the sky like an acrobat. Midair, she stiffened. Her senses flared. I've detected the beast's dark energy again. It fled 20 kilometers to a residential area. Her voice sharpened. Immediate pursuit. Protect the residents. Stay cautious. The spirit fruit's effect isn't complete. It may still grow stronger. With a kick against the wall, she vanished into the night, streaking like a comet. Down below, a random pedestrian looked up, jaw hanging. Did I just see Sailor Moon? Inside the Central Channel manga department, one poor overworked editor rubs his eyes and mutters. Am I hallucinating from deadlines again? Or is there seriously someone jumping in front of the moon? His colleague, still red-eyed from inking panels all night, snaps back. Hallucinating? The only hallucination I see is you imagining you're done with the manga. Get back to work, we're on the 65th floor. But before the scolding can continue, the office lights flicker. Outside, framed against the glowing moon, a dark figure leaps, dramatic enough to put every shonen protagonist to shame. Meanwhile, on the streets below, the mutated beast roars and lunges at Fan Yi. Only this time, Fan Yi doesn't flinch. His golden eyes blaze as though he's powered by an ancient solar battery. Ever since his breakthrough, he thinks, my body moves sharper, faster. It's like the beast is charging at me in slow motion. Crackling golden energy coils around his hand, lighting up like he just grabbed hold of the sun itself. Already? Mutated beasts appearing this early? He mutters, half exasperated, half thrilled. He sidesteps the charge with ease, grabs the monster mid-swipe, and slams it into the pavement so hard the ground itself files for workers' compensation. The crowd in the distance might have expected screams of terror. Instead, the only thing heard is the crisp crack of bones and the ominous hum of energy. Golden light wreathes Fan Yi's body. His eyes narrow. The weak points the tail. He rockets upward like a golden cannonball, dragging a shockwave behind him. The earth splits beneath his feet, the beast flails midair. Too late. Fan Yi's fist glows like a miniature sun, and he unleashes a golden beam that burns across the night. The beast howls, writhes, and in a last act of desperation, tries to swallow the energy whole. Fan Yi smirks. Absorb this? You dare? That's solar-grade young energy, my friend. You're not snacking on the sun. The beast ignites from within. Boom! A blazing explosion tears the night apart. Up in his apartment, the poor manga editor nearly chokes on his instant noodles. Thunder? At midnight? He rushes to the window and blinks. Or maybe, I am hallucinating. Down below, Fan Yi lands lightly, shards of glowing energy scattering like golden fireflies around him. He dusts off his sleeves as though he hadn't just vaporized a nightmare rabbit monster. Fragments of a red eye roll to his feet. He stomps once, grinding it into the dirt with casual disdain. The beast was desperate. Reckless. Hungry. He mutters. Darkness-driven, but starving. If I hadn't awakened, I'd be dinner right now. His golden aura fades, and with it comes resolve. I need more spiritual techniques. Surviving what's ahead won't be possible with just this. Elsewhere, under the moonlight, a girl descends like a fallen star. She lands in the forest with enough force to crack branches and shake birds from their sleep. Kneeling by the charred corpse, she frowns. Torn apart already? She reaches for the remains but flinches back. Hot! Her eyes widen. This temperature. Young energy? And pure too. Exactly like the one reported at King Chang University. This is no coincidence. She presses her earpiece. HQ, the mutated rabbit is confirmed dead. But it wasn't me. Someone else did it. A pioneer. The calm line crackles. A pioneer? The one who purified King Chang University's northern gate. Yes. Not in the archives, strange. His elemental power is unusually pure. We need him. Contact immediately. Understood. She replies calmly, sealing the sample in her cloak. Her superior barks another order. Postpone everything else. Track him down. Persuade him. The association must have him. The girl pauses, unwrapping a lollipop with immaculate grace. She pops it into her mouth, chewing with all the seriousness of a top-tier spy. Got it, she says. But first, she takes a dramatic slurp. I want milk tea. Fan Yi couldn't help but wonder who this mysterious powerhouse was. Anyone who could release that much overwhelming energy definitely wasn't your average street cultivator. It had to be a true expert. He clenched his teeth and made a silent vow. No matter what, he'd meet this person one day. Meanwhile, somewhere else entirely, Funi stretched his arms wide in front of a giant window as golden sunlight poured into the room like it had been waiting all night just to spotlight him. The whole day starts in the morning. He announced to no one in particular, admiring the dazzling glow. Then, shirt off. Boom. Muscles out. If sunlight had feelings, it would have blushed. Waking up early helps with cultivation, he said, as if revealing a life hack no one on the internet had ever heard before. As he stood there basking in the warmth, glowing energy swirled around him. He activated the legendary golden sun breathing technique, guiding himself to feel the morning rays and absorb them like some oversized, shirtless solar panel. Fan Yi could sense it. Ever since he'd stepped into the Ghost Axe realm, the aura of the so-called mountain masterpiece became much clearer when using this technique. It felt like invisible golden threads were circling around the divine axe. Then, boom! A sudden explosion of light erupted. Wait, already? Fan Yi blinked. The breakthrough happened so fast it caught even him by surprise. Energy surged through his arm as he clenched his glowing fist. Lifting the golden axe, he realized it felt lighter. Much lighter. Swinging it experimentally, he mused. Cultivation is just like chopping wood. What really matters is persistence. Swoosh. His downward chop blasted radiant energy through his body, shaking the ground. Golden flames danced around him as he marveled at how much tougher his body had become. His eyes glowed like two molten suns. Still, he reminded himself, his fast progress wasn't just talent. It was thanks to leftover residual energy from his earlier breakthrough. Surrounded by blazing golden fire, he swore to take things one step at a time. No more flashy leaps. Well, hopefully. Then his eyes landed on a package conveniently stamped. Authentic goods. He frowned. Great. My breakthroughs are so loud, even my delivery parcels are embarrassed. I need to find a quieter spot. Elsewhere, at the association office. An old man, sipping tea and pretending to retire, suddenly froze. His phone pinged, solar energy fluctuations. His brow furrowed. Again? Is it that kid Fan Yi? Back in the mountains. Beside a quiet stream, Fan Yi sat cross-legged, pulling up his glowing screen interface like he was about to order takeout. A prompt asked, use code points to implant Yong attribute into weapon? Yes. He confirmed coolly. Golden energy wrapped around him in a swirl. He recalled his last attempt. He tried coding a figurine into a weapon. The result? It worked, until it exploded from the Yong attribute's sheer power. This time, however, was different. The new blade in his hand resonated with him deeply, as if it shared the same origin. His screen confirmed. Coding successful. He grinned. Perfect. Let's test it. Swish, boom. The swing unleashed so much energy he nearly started a forest fire. Coughing in relief, he muttered. Okay, maybe a little too perfect. Enter the girl. She dashed into the scene, smoke swirling around her. Seriously? I just went out for milk tea. 1 coupon. And now this? Damn Mercury retrograde. When she spotted the destruction, her jaw dropped. Her tear-filled eyes widened as she realized. Wait, last night his aura was only 1-star ghost axe. How is it now 2-star? And a spirit weapon? For reference, spirit weapons are rare. Legendary even. The association had only 2. And yet this random guy, Milk Tea Girl's least favorite headache, had 1? She laughed nervously. It must be a mistake. Totally a mistake. Yep. Definitely my imagination. Still, muttering under her breath, she got ready to clean the mess. Again. Meanwhile, Fan Yi kept walking through the forest. He mulled things over. His weapon now carried the Yong attribute, but who said you could only code 1 attribute? The system's words echoed in his mind. Anything in the world can become coding material. Stacking attributes on a single weapon? Now that sounded fun. His phone buzzed. A message. Hey, are you a pioneer? Saw your browser history. Looks like you entered the realm after a driver post. Fan Yi slapped his forehead. Right. Forgot to set privacy mode. The stranger continued. Their group had 3 members, all pioneers, looking to connect. They asked about his progress, threw in some gossip about a national team player breaking through, and even mentioned that official military recruits were still only at Ghost Axe realm. Then another ping, IDUG 72. New pollution zone just opened. Wanna team up? Safer, and we split the loot. Attached, a file named Dark River Molten Dragon. Curious, Fan Yi opened it. The data explained, tectonic shifts had twisted a river into a molten pollution zone, now carrying a Yong-type attribute. His eyes lit up. Perfect match. Without hesitation, he typed back, count me in. In the Manhwa district, a small crowd was gathered around a sealed stone entrance the size of a football stadium door. Oldly, when's your friend getting here? One of them grumbled, already regretting skipping lunch for this little expedition. Another, clutching a scroll like it was his grandmother's recipe book, proudly declared. Thanks to Zhao's detailed maps, we found this place without getting lost in 3 different valleys. Yeah. Someone else chimed in. But remember, once we're inside, watch each other's backs. I'm not carrying anyone home if they get their arms bitten off. Meanwhile, Jang Koya, official staff member of the Ministry of Culture's Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association, yes, it's a mouthful, stood yawning with the look of a government worker who'd been promised a cushy desk job but somehow got roped into caving expeditions. Ugh, no promising pioneers this time either. If this drags on, I'll be working overtime again. She muttered, already fantasizing about slapping in. Out of office. Notice on the cave wall. The narration, perhaps too smug for its own good, explained, most pioneers don't even realize the association is a government agency. Becoming a member isn't just hard, it's practically a miracle unless you're rich, connected, or the examiner's nephew. Just as Jang Koya was calculating how many instant noodles she could buy with overtime pay, someone gasped. Wait, is that Fan Yi? Sure enough, Fang Yi strolled up like he was arriving fashionably late to a dinner party. His aura radiated strength, yet it felt oddly warm. Not oppressive, not scary, more like standing near a campfire instead of being roasted alive. "It's nice to meet you all," Fang Yi said with a polite bow, as if he hadn't just made everyone else feel like peasants in the presence of royalty. Koya squinted. Ghost Axe Realm, 2 stars. But how does he feel like sunshine instead of a guillotine? She filed that question away for later. "Alright." Someone clapped their hands. "Since everyone's here, time to move out." Inside the cave, Fang Yi immediately took the lead. "Koya, handle the light." "Of course," she replied, conjuring a glowing orb. The group crept forward, nerves tight as bowstrings. "Careful, loose rocks here," one warned. "Huh, not as hot as I expected," another muttered. "Not yet," Fang Yi said calmly. "We're not at the core. Stay alert. If you're tired, speak up. Safety first." Privately, Fang Yi reflected on how warmly they'd welcomed him, despite him being the last to arrive. Either they're genuinely kind, or just desperate not to die alone. Either way, I'll take it. At last, the team stumbled upon a cavern that looked like the Earth's furnace itself, molten lava bubbling and glowing. "Holy, this is actually lava!" Someone gasped, eyes wide as saucers. Before anyone could stop him, Fang Yi casually walked straight toward the lava pit. "Hey! Don't be reckless!" Jang Koya shouted, nearly dropping her light orb. Too late. Fang Yi plunged his tang blade into the lava like he was dipping bread into hot soup. The group screamed in horror. "Is he insane? Pull him back!" The lava roared in response, flames bursting like fireworks. Yet Fang Yi stood untouched, calm as ever, while his system dinged in his mind. World anomaly detected, inner flame. Analyzing. Conclusion, extremely high temperature, explosive properties. Also, don't try this at home. The system then began reciting technique descriptions like a shopping channel. Crimson Flame Blade Technique. Each swing unleashes blazing flames and lightning. Only 99 spirit points, but wait, there's more. Fang Yi, without hesitation, embedded the inner flame into his weapon. Fire danced around the blade, turning it into a molten masterpiece. He rose safely from the pit, while the others stared like villagers witnessing magic for the first time. "His weapon's absorbing the energy. He's fine? Not even a scratch." Fang Yi stood confidently, blade blazing. "This perfectly complements my Tang blade," he murmured, as though narrating his own hero's journey. Inspired, one teammate declared, "I'm gonna absorb energy too." "Me too," another shouted. "With a little training, I'll finally step onto the cultivation path." Jang Koya softened, smiling at their enthusiasm. "Don't worry, I'll keep watch. Just focus on training." "Thank you," they all chorused, bowing like school kids. But her smile faded when her sharp eyes caught movement at the cave entrance. "Trouble incoming," she warned. A group of aggressive newcomers swaggered in. Their red-haired leader sneered. Well, look at the small fries. This is our turf now. Get lost before I roast you." Jang Koya glanced back at her teammates, still sitting cross-legged in cultivation bliss, completely oblivious. She quickly sized up the newcomers, 3 Ghost Axe 1 stars. Too strong to risk fighting head-on. She forced a polite smile. "We found the spot first. My friends have already started absorbing energy. If you're willing to cultivate peacefully, we can share." The red-haired brute laughed in her face. "Share? With you weaklings? Don't make me laugh. Move or bleed." Her hand tightened around her staff as she reminded herself of the brutal law of this new era. Survival of the fittest. The weak get trampled. But as a representative of the Xia Countries Association, she clenched her jaw. Like it or not, I can't let this slide. Just when the situation looked grim, Fang Yi stepped forward with the kind of confidence that could only come from either a lifetime of training or binge-watching too many martial arts dramas. Standing tall, he pointed his sword at the red-haired thug and accused. "So this is all you can do? Bully a girl?" The man blinked like someone who had just been accused of stealing snacks in public. "What?" he shouted, utterly scandalized. Before the poor guy could recover from his dramatic "What?" Fang Yi unsheathed his flaming blade. With a single swing, he released a fiery shockwave so powerful it yeeted half the enemy squad back like paper dolls. Dust swirled, rocks trembled, and somewhere, a background narrator probably whispered, "Wha?" The red-haired leader's jaw dropped. "Fall back! Fall back!" he screamed, but it was already too late. Fang Yi's flaming slash detonated like a firework festival gone rogue, tossing enemies into the air like discount fireworks. One of Fang Yi's teammates, still recovering from the energy shockwave, muttered, What the hell just happened?" Cool as ever, Fang Yi reflected. This world fell to ruin because cultivators worship strength alone, the strong preying on the weak. And honestly, you can't lecture these types into being good people. You just have to remind them with a flaming sword. So he slashed again. Boom. Another explosion. The enemy leader's expression shifted from slightly annoyed to facing a literal kaiju. What kind of monster is this guy? The group scattered in sheer terror, leaving behind only the smell of scorched pride. Fangi's teammates ran up, wide-eyed and fangirling harder than the nearby village girls. Bro, that was insane! Did you see the explosion? So cool! Fangi just smiled modestly. They crossed the line. But enough flexing, we've got the energy we came for. Time to bounce. As the squad prepared to exit the spirit zone, they whispered about how destructive his attack could have been if it had actually landed full force. Meanwhile, Zhang Xiaoya, watching quietly, clenched her fist. Her inner thoughts screamed. This guy isn't normal. He's a top-tier pioneer with elite talent. I need to report this. Cut to Spirit Energy Cultivation Association HQ. A woman at the office nearly spat her tea when she read the report. Another high-tier pioneer? Zhang Xiaoya froze on the other end of the call. Another? What do you mean another? She stammered nervously, while secretly pressing Save File on her recording. Smooth. She later gushed to her teacher. 2 high-tier pioneers in 1 week. Isn't that wild? The old man groaned like someone who just got homework dumped on him at age 50. Luck? Please. Anyone with a high-tier attribute is about to become a big deal. And honestly, I'm too old for this nonsense. Somebody fire me already. Meanwhile, Fangi strolled into town wearing a hoodie and carrying his sword like it was no big deal. Girls passing by whispered, OMG, he looks like a main character. Cue Fangi's inner monologue. I'm not cool. I'm just cosplaying. Then came the breaking news alert on his phone. Glowing skies in the east, purple aura, even a dragon sighting. Cultivation cliches leaking into reality. Fangi sighed. So my inner flame is stronger than I thought. Guess it's time for more golden sun breathing. 5 minutes later, at the back mountain, Su Mantang, aka by King, aka the one who clearly skipped leg day for sprint training, sensed the energy surge and panicked. Wait, someone's breaking through to the 3-star Ghost AXE realm? Who even does that? She raced to the scene only to see Fangi in full anime protagonist mode, cross-legged, glowing eyes, golden flames, lightning crackling everywhere. Above him, energy condensed into the shape of a divine axe. Su Mantang nearly fainted. Is this guy for real? I nearly died vomiting blood last time I tried. And he's glowing like a walking thunder god. The divine axe pulsed with overwhelming energy. Fangi, calm as a monk on vacation, just sat there controlling it with precision that most cultivators would kill for. His aura screamed. Heaven's chosen one. Su Mantang's jaw on floor. Her inner monologue. He's not just a genius, he's a monster. A really handsome monster, but still a monster. Suddenly, boom. Fangi rose into the air, golden lightning erupting everywhere, breaking through to the 2nd star of the Ghost Axe realm. Su Mantang braced herself in the storm, hair whipping like a shampoo commercial gone wrong. 30 seconds and I already can't get close. This guy's ridiculous. She spotted the axe stopping by a giant glowing tree, realizing it hadn't fully awakened yet. But before she could collect herself, Fangi reappeared behind her like a ninja. Calmly, he said, keep my identity a secret for now. Su Mantang blinked, then fumbled for her badge like it was an Uno reverse card. I'm Su Mantang, official Spirit Energy Association scout. Look, ID proof. Fangi raised a brow. Su Mantang, wait, that name sounds familiar. Flashback to his past life. Oh right. Didn't she fail her mission and humanity got wiped out? Yeah, that was awkward. Out loud, he just nodded politely. Su Mantang beamed. See? You can trust me. Fangi. Sure. I'll think about it. Then vanished like Batman after a mic drop. Su Mantang groaned. Why do I always miss my chance? And now I've got to write another report. Kill me now. Just then, her earpiece buzzed. Alert. An abnormal has reappeared. Her blood froze. It's active again? No way. I'll never forget what that monster pack did last time. She clenched her fists. Fine. If Fangi's a monster born of thunder, then I'll need him for what's coming next. Dark red creatures with twisted forms crawled through the ruins of the city like cockroaches after a power outage. They hunted, bit, and killed for no reason other than being horrible neighbors. Some attacked at random like drunk hooligans, while others moved with strategies so complex it made humans wonder if these monsters had taken online strategy courses. The Spirit Energy Association, in their infinite wisdom, had officially labeled them abnormal beings, which was really just a fancy way of saying, we have no clue what these things are, but they bite, so kill them. The danger was clear. If these creatures weren't eliminated early, they absorbed aura like free Wi-Fi and evolved into even nastier versions of themselves. Left unchecked, they became walking natural disasters, bigger, meaner, and twice as difficult to deal with. Cue the scene. Lightning flashed across the rain-soaked city, slicing through the storm clouds like a dramatic stage spotlight. Rain poured down in sheets, drenching the streets until they looked like reflective rivers of neon and despair. Emergency warnings blared across giant electronic screens, flashing messages like, Warning, warning. This zone has entered. You really shouldn't be here. State. Civilians, please evacuate immediately. Warning. Passers-by muttered, shaking their heads. These anomalies are getting too frequent. One complained. Another sighed. At this rate, the monsters are going to start asking us to pay rent. Amid this chaos, Fang Yi, hood pulled over his drenched hair, stepped into a puddle with the confidence of a man who clearly didn't care about wet socks. He tilted his head up at the sky, narrowing his eyes at the pressure rolling in the atmosphere. Lightning wasn't just striking, it was flexing. The center of the storm is still moving, he muttered, as if scolding a misbehaving dog. With that, Fang Yi darted up a flight of slick stone stairs, his boots splashing as he sprinted. He stopped briefly to glare at a mountain in the distance, now being struck repeatedly by purple lightning. The signal is coming from there, he whispered. And then, without hesitation, because hesitation was for the weak, he leapt forward into the storm. Meanwhile, at the Spirit Energy Association emergency meeting, a giant holographic screen flickered to life, showing Yu Huang Peak getting fried like a French fry in a fryer. The spiritual energy levels are rising, reported one nervous staffer. Danger level increasing rapidly. A man in a suit adjusted his glasses gravely. This is serious. Translation: we're all screwed, but I'll pretend I'm calm about it. Another official added. Even Ghost Axe Tier 3 elites would have a 100% fatality rate in that zone. Everyone gasped. Papers shuffled. Coffee was spilled. Bai King, the unfortunate soul tasked with explaining the mess, bowed slightly. In 1 hour, the zone will need a new emergency classification. And, no one in our entire district has the ability to approach it safely. Lock it down, barked one officer. Seal it completely, shouted another. And so, with the speed only bureaucrats could muster, they declared the mountain off limits. Back at the mountain itself, the storm raged, lightning tearing into the earth. And who else but Fang Yi appeared, cloak whipping dramatically, muttering to himself like a lunatic in the rain. I will reclaim my memory, he whispered, as though the storm itself was listening. But Fang Yi knew the truth. If he wanted to absorb this level of spiritual energy, he had to go deeper into the mountain's core. The problem? Even ordinary monsters had been beefed up by this lightning buffet, and the danger level was rising fast, complete with space-time distortions. Basically, it was a buy one doom, get another free situation. Still, Fang Yi wasn't the type to run. He had mastered the golden sun breathing technique and the flame blade, but he also knew his body wasn't exactly built for unlimited overclocking. Too much strain, and he might snap like a cheap USB cable. So, naturally, he grinned and pushed forward anyway. Only by pushing my limits can I survive, he muttered, tightening his grip on his blade. If I miss this chance, I might as well wait for death under the heavens. And then lightning said, bet. A massive bolt of blue-white thunder came crashing down, lighting up the entire peak. Fang Yi braced, screaming through the pain as sparks and fire coiled around him. His clothes tore, blood streaked his lips, but he refused to fall. The system chimed in cheerily. High voltage notification, massive lightning energy detected. High voltage system recording progress. Fang Yi roared, flames bursting from his body as he leapt upward, clashing directly with the storm. His fire and the lightning tangled like rival lovers in a messy breakup. People in the city stared at the colossal explosion of light from their towers. Someone whispered, "Is that a human?" The system pinged again. White heavy checkmark achievement unlocked. Divine thunder tempering. Sparkle's heavenly thunder-drawn body refined into divinity. Award, plus 50 system points. When the storm cleared, Fang Yi floated above the mountain, glowing like an avenging deity. His aura warped the very weather around him. Lightning, he declared, voice echoing, is both my fangs and my shield. The system wasn't done. Skull new ability available, pure judgment lightning. Effect, plus 300% damage to evil beings. Cost, system points. Purchase? Fang Yi tilted his head, eyeing his sword. He could embed the lightning into it, but if he did, the blade might snap under the weight of such absurd power. He smirked instead, flexing his hand. Put it in my right hand, he commanded. High voltage confirming command. High voltage embedding lightning attribute. Sparks gathered, thunder roared, and lightning coiled into Fang Yi's palm. His grin widened. Perfect, he whispered. And so, standing in the middle of heaven's wrath, he absorbed the storm itself, smiling like a madman who had just stolen candy from the gods. At dawn the next day, the storm-ravaged Yong Peak looked like a battlefield straight out of a bad apocalypse movie. Lightning scars across the mountainside, trees fried to charcoal sticks, and military personnel squinting into the mist like they expected the mountain to cough up an apology. Report, barked Major Hanli, who had the personality of an iron rod and the haircut to match. Sir, one officer snapped to attention. Someone entered the mountain before us. Hanli's brows twitched. A pioneer? Yes, sir. From behind, Bai King, who usually looked like she could stare down a thundercloud into apologizing, suddenly rushed forward, voice trembling. Did he survive? No one answered. The silence was dramatic enough for the background wind to kick in, fluttering her uniform like she was posing for a propaganda poster. Finally, she knelt to the ground and muttered. I can't sense his attributes, or how long he's been gone. Yesterday's lightning storm scrambled everything. The officer cleared his throat and tried to sound less like he was reading off Google Translate. Well, it happened around 6 or 7 a.m. He slipped in just before we got here. Honestly, the timing was so tight, he might have dodged us before the sensors even updated. Hanli looked over the charred peak, unimpressed. The reading said pollution should have spiked to rank X, but instead, the density plummeted. Suspicious. Suspicious? Bai King frowned. Yes. Suspicious. The officer leaned in dramatically. The intruder may have lightning powers. Which means he didn't just survive, he feasted on that storm. Used it like a 5-star buffet. Too precise to be coincidence. Whoever he is, he's dangerous. Bai King folded her arms. Friend or foe? Hanli's lips tightened. If foe, then disaster greater than any anomaly. Dun dun dun. Meanwhile, across town, Fangi was waking up on his couch. His sword lay beside him like an overworked roommate. His hair stuck up in 6 different directions, and his first heroic act of the day was rubbing his head like a hungover panda. Back at command, Hanli was already plotting damage control. Assign him a code name, he ordered. Tyrant. Yes, because nothing says let's stay subtle like calling someone Tyrant. The investigation at Yuang Mountain kicked off immediately. The military kept it hush-hush, spreading fake reports of natural disasters. On the Rain-Soak Summit, the Spiritual Practitioners Association arrived. Their leader, who looked like he practiced stern frowning in the mirror every morning, told Hanli. We've already dispatched a top pioneer to make contact. Then he turned dramatically to Su Qing. Brief him. Su Qing's heart skipped a beat. Me? Brief him? She swallowed hard, stitched together half-truths with the skill of a panicked student bluffing an oral exam, and said, yes sir. I believe it's the same pioneer who purified the contamination at the university. I've been trying to reach him, but he's elusive. Very elusive. Like a ninja rabbit. The rabbit part wasn't entirely wrong. She even mentioned the dead mutated bunny she'd stumbled upon, proof of Fangi's trail, and noted the traces of young flame energy at the scene. All technically true. Major Hanli studied her like she was an exam paper. Finally, he nodded. Gifted young pioneer. Well done. Su Qing saluted so sharply she nearly sprained her wrist. Inside, she screamed with relief. When the meeting wrapped, Hanli casually mentioned plans to cover everything up with natural disaster reports, and warned against putting spiritual data online. Su Qing exhaled, finally free of interrogation. Meanwhile, back at Casa Fangi, our Tyrant, Kiro was drying his hoodie with his golden sun breathing technique. Within seconds, the damp hoodie looked like it had been kissed by divine laundry service. He flexed his fingers, sparks dancing playfully between them. The once violent thunder energy now bowed to his will like a tame puppy. He grinned. 200% critical damage boost, huh? Oh, we're cooking now. Just then, ping! His phone buzzed. Fangi squinted. He'd set up special alerts for emergencies because, in his world, breaking news usually translated to congratulations, you're now the unpaid intern for saving the city. The notification? A chemical plant explosion. Officials claimed no injuries. Fangi raised an eyebrow. Yeah, right. And I'm a vegan. Scrolling through forums, he read eyewitness accounts. Cold aura. Evil presence. Creepy vibes. The words triggered a horrifying memory. Blood, chaos, and a crimson monstrosity with too many eyes and not enough manners. A mutated creature. Fangi muttered grimly. And not the cute bunny kind. His fist crackled with blue lightning. He knew these abominations grew stronger if left unchecked. Tonight he'd hunt it down. Surrounded by a storm of electricity, Fangi smirked. Time to test my 200% critical damage boost. That same rainy night, the streets were empty and slick, reflecting the storm like a broken mirror. Blurred figures darted across rooftops, an elite squad cloaked in black, moving like shadows given legs. They were the Destroyer Squad, specialists in hunting things that went bump in the night, then tore people in half for dessert. Their current headache? A creature codenamed Candle Knight. One operative reported grimly. Target sighted earlier, but it slipped away. Not surprising. Candle Knight had the uncanny ability to melt into the dark. And unlike moody teenagers, it actually thrived there. Worse, it gave off a low, sinister sizzling sound, like bacon frying, except the bacon was human. High above the city, lightning split the sky as the squad regrouped on a rooftop. Their leader, silver hair, battle-scarred face, eyes that screamed. I haven't slept since the Cold War. Knew the storm tilted the odds in the monster's favor. Still, with grim determination, he growled. We stop it. Tonight. At Central Command, an operator filed the report. Priority level, red. Time frame, 12 hours. The extermination order was sealed and transmitted with all the urgency of an overworked bureaucrat slamming. Reply all. The squad got their orders. Hunt it. Kill it. But don't die like amateurs. Red dots glowed ominously on their digital map, marking multiple threats across the nation. 12 hours wasn't ideal, but hey, national resources were stretched thin. Candle Knight would have to settle for being killed on a budget. But then came the snag. A warning buzzed across their comms. The area was currently under the jurisdiction of the Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association. A profile photo popped up, Su King, local prodigy and, according to every gossip forum, the one who outworks caffeine. The squad leader sighed, pinched the bridge of his nose, and requested her assistance. Her reputation was flawless, her attitude less so. Elsewhere, Su King raised an eyebrow. Since when am I this famous? Did my fan club pay for ad space? Minutes later, under pounding rain, Su and her cloak team arrived. Perching above like dramatic gargoyles, she smirked. So, you're the ones dragging me out for overtime? The silver-haired captain, who hadn't smiled since the invention of umbrellas, responded bluntly. Candle Knight is a man-eater. This isn't a casual favor. One of Su's teammates immediately bristled. Wow, who gave Mr. Personality the megaphone? Su pivoted with a mock bow. Well, if you're so capable, you clearly don't need me. She turned to leave, cloak swirling dramatically for emphasis. Her squad trailed after her, muttering. Does she always roast people this hard? One asked. Relax, it builds character. Another shrugged. Panic flickered across the destroyer captain's scarred face. He actually called out. Wait. And swallowing his pride, pleaded. We need you. Candle Knight is unlike anything else. If we fail tonight, innocent lives will be lost. That hit the right chord. Su sighed, rolled her eyes, and finally agreed, though she muttered something about extra pay or I walk. Just then, one squad member stiffened. Contact. The city seemed to inhale as a portal ripped open above. Shadows coiled like smoke. Then came the eyes, red, burning, unblinking. File number 7, Candle Knight. Likes darkness, dampness, chewing on pedestrians. Destroyer squad. The captain commanded. Begin operation. The beast lunged, faster than thought, a blur of claws and sizzling darkness. The squad's formation snapped into place like clockwork, north, east, west, south. A coordinated trap. Steel clashed with shadow. One operative struck true, drawing a shriek that rattled teeth. But Candle Knight responded with a swipe so brutal it carved a car in half. Red eyes blazing, it spun into a vortex of dark energy, screaming in fury. Dodge! Soundwave incoming! Su barked. Too late. The spiraling shockwave erupted, flinging fighters across rooftops like soggy ragdolls. Masonry cracked, sparks burst, and one soldier groaned. I think it dislocated my dignity. Their captain, bleeding from the arm, staggered upright. If I hadn't dodged, my bones would be dust. He spat blood and added. If it remains in the city, catastrophe is inevitable. Candle Knight howled, body glowing a sickly green. Dark energy pulsed outward, corroding the rooftop as though the world itself was melting. With startling speed, it began digging into the ground, carving a tunnel with acid breath. It's trying to burrow! A squad member shouted. Everything it touches corrodes instantly. We don't have a counter-element strong enough. One soldier quickly calmed them. It can't dig out instantly. Hold formation. We're intel support, not a marching band. Stay sharp. Then BM. Candle Knight burst from the ground, claws first, and sent another operative flying into a billboard, which ironically read, Think Positive. The squad leader roared. Don't let it escape. Chase it. They followed the glowing green energy trail through the storm until they reached another rooftop. A spike in spiritual energy nearly blinded their scanners. One member raised a hand. Careful. We wait outside. The target's inside, and it's not alone. Inside the abandoned factory, the squad's lead scout was hunched over, fiddling with a gadget strapped to her wrist, a sleek little thing blinking faintly like it was half asleep. Is that the association's new auxiliary tool? The squad leader asked, raising a brow. She puffed her chest a little. Yep. This beauty can track anomaly levels. The average squad can handle up to 50. She paused, then added in a smug tone. The one we were chasing earlier? Barely 48. Child's play. The device suddenly screamed to life, its readings spiking violently. 80. 85. Climbing. Everyone stared. She blinked. Okay. Not child's play. Before anyone could process, a shadow uncoiled above them. A massive serpent draped across the steel beams like it owned the place. And if that wasn't bad enough, a loud crash thundered from behind. Great. Someone muttered. 2 for 1 special. Bai King clenched her jaw. We've been tricked. Candle Knight lured us here, and now the serpents joined the party. The leader barked an order. We're retreating. Straight to the door. If it wants to stop us, it'll have to show itself. Together, they blasted the rusted factory doors with spiritual firepower, forcing them open. They bolted. Almost made it. Almost. Something lashed out of the mist and slammed biking to the ground. Poison gas hissed through the air, seeping into her lungs. Her limbs weakened, her senses dulled. She gasped, clawing at her communicator. Guys! Silence. Only the eerie echo of the factory. Alone, choking in the haze, she pieced it together. Candle Night is the bait. The serpent's the butcher. One lures, one harvests. The serpent's monstrous face emerged from the toxic fog. Unlike Candle Night's creepy theatrics, this mist wasn't just for show. It was poison, pure and simple. Paralysis, energy drain, suffocation, the whole deadly package. Her body gave in. She collapsed. A faint shaft of light cut through the ceiling above, but she couldn't even lift a finger. Then, boom! A figure crashed down from above, landing with enough force to crack the concrete. Fangi. Calm, confident, and looking like someone who just jumped into a fight he'd been waiting for all day. The serpent lunged at him with jaws wide, but Fangi dodged effortlessly. And just as he steadied himself, wham! Candle Night dove from above. Two anomalies, coordinated like hunting partners. Fangi growled but smirked. So that's the game. One lures, the other devours. Cute. Candle Night, you bite a little too much. You must really enjoy it. Thunder crackled around him, his sword igniting with blazing lightning. With a sweeping strike, he scorched the serpent's body, flames tearing into its scales. The serpent reeled, screeching in agony, but its wounds closed almost instantly. Fangi wasn't surprised. Of course you regenerate. Figures. Then he unleashed his trump card, channeling his flame and thunder into one devastating blow. Fire seared, lightning purified. The serpent's body writhed, screaming until it finally collapsed into ash. Triple crit thunder finish. Fangi muttered, admiring his own handiwork. Not bad. Pretty sure I'm climbing the pioneer rankings. Just as he was basking in his victory, poison from a stray serpent's scale burned into his shoulder. His vision blurred. The serpent's last laugh. Gritting his teeth, he reminded himself, flame dissolves poison. Golden sun breathing heals. Thunder purifies. My body screams because it knows the danger, but at least I'm alive. Others wouldn't be so lucky. He steadied his breath, let the poison burn out, and watched the serpent's ashes scatter. That's when he noticed movement in the smoke. Su King, the scout, coughing miserably. Fangi raised a brow. Oh, you're still alive. What was your name again? He smirked. Don't bother pretending you're dead. Your acting needs work. Her face turned beet red. I wasn't pretending. I really did pass out. The smell woke me. Fangi chuckled. Strong willpower though. Your teammates fainted, yet you had just enough left to shield yourself. If you were out cold, you wouldn't have smelled blood or burnt flesh. Su King blinked stunned, then muttered a thanks. Inside, she thought, so he noticed I saved a sliver of energy. Just how strong is this guy? He waved it off. Doesn't matter. Promise you won't reveal my identity, and we're good. For a moment, he almost seemed friendly. Then he glanced at the gaping roof and sighed. I'm late. You're safe now. I'll leave the cleanup to you. Before she could protest, he leapt up through the hole. No need for more talking. Talking just complicates things. As he disappeared into the night, Su King whispered to herself. Enemies really do meet on narrow paths. Meanwhile, Fangi smirked privately. Good thing she didn't see me trying to absorb that dark energy earlier. That stuff's disgusting. Cold, slimy, and the system didn't even respond. Forget it. I'll analyze later at home. Meanwhile, back inside the factory, chaos looked more like a nap party. Su King stomped over, slapped her teammates awake, and barked. Everyone up! It's all over now! Her poor teammates scrambled like chickens in a thunderstorm. The senior member of the squad blinked awake, rubbed his eyes, and yelled. We were ambushed! But the words died in his throat when he spotted the giant serpent's corpse roasting like a barbecue pit right in front of him. The others, now fully awake, gawked at the sight of the burning python. The senior's jaw practically hit the floor. Wait a second. Where did that overwhelming young attribute come from? Su King, who had been patiently waiting for her dramatic line, stepped forward calmly. As you can see, gentlemen, someone came to help us. Pioneers. My mission target, in fact, an extremely high-level attribute pioneer. That got her teammates buzzing like gossiping aunties at a wedding. So you know who he is? One asked eagerly. Su King shook her head with a helpless smile. Not yet. He actually saw through me when I tried to tail him. But this time he saved us. Everyone turned to stare at the burning serpent again, and one wide-eyed teammate blurted. Hold on. You mean to tell me this guy soloed both Candle Night and the Python? Alone? What is he, a monster? The senior marched forward, puffing his chest out like he knew what he was doing, and began inspecting the charred battlefield. While trying to look cool, he stepped on one of the serpent's fallen scales. Bad idea. Bzzzztt. A crackling surge of violet electricity zapped the floor, and the poor guy nearly jumped out of his boots. Holy! Violet energy? He yelped. He spun to Su Qing like she owed him answers. Captain, didn't you say it was a young attribute? This is way too intense. Su Qing crouched down beside the remains, her expression serious. Candle Knight's thunder attribute. Very pure. Very strong. Definitely high tier. The senior frowned, muttering like a man whose worldview just got shaken. Wait a minute. Could it be 2 high-level pioneers showed up here? One killed the Python, one killed Candle Knight, and they left together? But Su Qing didn't move. She just stood there staring at the scorched battlefield, her fists slowly clenching. Her inner monologue screamed louder than her voice. No. Only one person came. Nobody would believe it, but one guy carried 2 high-tier attributes. Yang Flamewalker, Thunder Tyrant. What kind of freak is this? Time skip, fast forward a little. Outside the factory, several association vehicles rolled up like nosy neighbors who finally decided to check in. Su Qing sighed in relief. Good thing I stationed guards outside, or else they'd have sent a mop-up crew for our corpses. Inside, her teammates clung to her like overly emotional drama heroines. Boss, you're alive! I thought I'd lost you forever, sobbed one. If you had died, what would I do without you? Cried another. Su Qing stared blankly. What nonsense are you people spouting? Before she could shake them off, the association's reconnaissance team marched in with scanners and crystal devices, moving around like CSI investigators. Their job? Reconstruct the fight and make everyone else feel inadequate. One scanner stopped, checked his readings, and announced to the room. Captains, based on combat habits and kill patterns, there's a 99% chance one person killed both anomalies. The senior went stiff. So it really was one person. A dual high-tier attribute pioneer. Another teammate muttered. And here we are, Ghost Axe realm, feeling proud of ourselves. The gap is ridiculous. Su Qing quickly stepped aside, pulled out her communicator, and reported to the higher-ups. My surveillance target appeared. Both Tyrant and the Northgate anomaly were my missions. Data's updated. On the other end, the association's chief listened, then sighed. I understand, Su Qing. Halt your mission for now. He saved you and wiped out the threats. He's not our enemy. Best not to annoy the man. Frankly, Old Han and I already disagree about this. Su Qing pressed her lips together, then added carefully. But Chief, back when Tyrant was about to advance at the back mountain, I sensed a very strong aura. At first, I thought it was a spiritual weapon. Now, knowing he's a dual high-tier pioneer, I'm beginning to wonder. The chief's tone sharpened instantly. A spiritual weapon? Impossible. No one could have that without major backing. And besides, our scanners found no third attribute traces. Su Qing persisted. When I came in contact with him, the aura I felt was definitely Young attribute. There was a pause. Then the chief muttered, half to himself, half in awe. If the weapon's aura really comes from his own Young attribute, then if he's a spirit creation realm cultivator, it might be possible. Su Qing's breath hitched. Spirit creation realm? That's insanely rare. Globally, we barely have 2 of them alive. But the chief wasn't finished. His voice dropped low. And if he truly has a third attribute, it will shake the entire pioneer world to its core. Attributes clash violently in the human body. It's supposed to be impossible to hold 3. No confirmed pioneer has ever done it. Then, after a long silence, he added grimly. If he does have a spiritual weapon, the fact we couldn't detect a third attribute might actually be a blessing. Let's just hope this freak of nature never decides to turn against humanity. The story now shifts to our MC who had just stepped out of the shower, steam still curling around him like he was about to star in some dramatic shampoo commercial. He towel-dried himself for about 2 seconds before lazily letting his fire attribute do the job. Instant hair dryer mode, no electricity bill. As he brushed the droplets from his shoulders, his mind wandered. Less than a year until the official spiritual energy revival, yet anomalies are already popping up like mushrooms after the rain. And not the tasty kind. The dangerous, explode-in-your-face kind. He muttered to himself as he got dressed, thoughts spinning faster than a washing machine on overdrive. Recently, pioneers everywhere had started cultivating solo. Crack open the interface between body and spiritual world, and suddenly you were sensitive to heaven and earth changes, like some kind of human antenna. He thought back to the people at the underground river, wild pioneers just like him. Most of us are already at 1-star ghost penetration realm, even without Zia country's official stamp of approval. Now that they're reaching out to the wild crowd, it means things are still peaceful-ish. Mutual exploration. No one stabbing each other yet. Still buttoning up his shirt, he frowned. But even if the government's association exists, it hasn't gone public yet. Rumors are everywhere. Instability, weird phenomena. It's obvious they're trying to protect people while also quietly yelling, guys, trouble's coming. He froze halfway, staring at the floor, memories flashing of his past life, buildings crumbling, cities burning like giant bonfires nobody asked for. His jaw tightened. That's the problem. I can feel it. The government doesn't have the guts to launch full-scale cultivation. Too many people. Once the truth gets out, order collapses faster than a bad Jenga tower. Panic, unrest, chaos. Even official pioneers won't stop it. Internal and external threats will crush everything. In that sense, their slow and careful approach isn't wrong. After all, human hearts? Way scarier than ghosts or gods. He sighed, but then his brow furrowed deeper. Still, anomalies are growing faster than I expected. As if on cue, a system notification blinked in front of him. Detected attribute reading, dark, subattribute, shadow. His eyes narrowed. The memory of black mist surged back, the contamination, the hunger inside it. Shadow attribute, the natural enemy of pioneers. These things weren't just brainless exotic beasts. No, they were clever. Too clever. They hunted pioneers specifically, bodies rich in spiritual nutrition. They even worked together sometimes, laying traps like seasoned assassins. And that was just a subattribute. The true dark types? He'd seen them before, the ones capable of wiping out entire nations. One of them alone was enough to ruin a continent's day. Even today. If I hadn't interfered, that squad and those recruiters would have been toast. Shadow is already that sinister. If that's just a branch. He let out a low laugh that wasn't entirely amused. Full dark attributes are going to be hell. Another notification blinked. Status, temporarily unabsorbable. RMC tilted his head. Temporarily, huh? So one day, I might actually absorb it. Maybe even flip it to our advantage. That could be the key. He mentally reviewed his arsenal like a gamer checking his skill tree. Golden Sun breathing, Yang attribute, check. Divine Thunder tempering, Thunder attribute, check. Crimson Flame blade technique, Yang subattribute, Inner Flame, check. Not just high-tier attributes, but perfectly matched techniques. At his current realm, 3-star Ghost Axe, and yeah, there weren't many pioneers out there who could seriously challenge him. He exhaled. But it's still not enough. Dramatic moment. Heavy thoughts. Then his phone rang. The ringtone? Not epic or ominous. Just the standard ding-ding tone that ruined the whole mood. He glanced at the caller ID and groaned. Auntie? Why is she calling all of a sudden? He picked up. Hello, how have you been? Auntie's cheerful voice flowed through the line. Listen, your cousin is coming to study near your place. I don't feel comfortable letting her stay in a hotel. Can she stay at your place for a few days? RMC blinked. Cousin? Right. The study-obsessed straight-A machine. What was her name again? Honestly, I don't even remember what she looks like. Out loud, he said casually. Just have her come over. Spare room's empty. When is she coming? He asked. No need to pick her up. I'll give her your address and she'll come on her own. Auntie replied. Then she chuckled warmly. She'll even bring you some cookies and snacks when she arrives. Should be there tomorrow afternoon. Sorry for the sudden trouble. RMC snorted. Auntie, what trouble? It's fine. A soft chuckle escaped him. I've got things to do, so I'll hang up now. Call ended. Silence fell again, his heavy thoughts still simmering under the mundane request. The universe was tossing anomalies at him one moment and family sleepovers the next. Truly, the balance of life. Meanwhile, at the aunt's house, a girl sat glued to her computer screen, eyes sparkling as she scrolled through one questionable article after another. Harnessing spiritual energy in just 10 steps. Beast challenges in public parks. Totally legal, not really. Death Town. Top 5 places to definitely not visit. She was in deep. Like PhD level deep. Right then, her mom, the MC's aunt, pushed open the door. Did you finish packing? She asked, arms crossed in classic mom stance. The girl sighed dramatically. Yeah, everything's packed. But I really don't want to stay with cousin brother. The hotel was fine for me. No. Her mom's tone had the finality of a Supreme Court verdict. It's much safer staying with your cousin than being alone in a hotel. I trust him more than any random staff member. And don't cause trouble there. Help around the house, understood? Ugh, fine. I get it. The girl shoved her mom playfully out the door, shutting it before another lecture could load. Leaning against it, she muttered. One hurdle at a time. Whatever cousin's like, he can't be harder to handle than an anomaly. The next day, phone in hand, she followed the GPS voice like it was divine guidance. You've arrived at your destination. The robotic map announced. She looked up. In front of her stood a big, hotel-style building. This should be the place. She muttered more to herself than the building. Just then, the door opened. Out stepped our hero. The girl straightened and said, Hello? So your name is Linny? He said, pretending recognition. In his mind, I totally couldn't recognize her at all. He led her inside, playing the polite host. So, you came here for the summer camp? Yes. She replied with just enough sincerity to sell it. If you need anything, just call me. Thank you, cousin. He handed her a spare key. Your room's down the hall. I'll be in mine. Linny accepted it with a little bow. Sorry for the trouble these few days. No trouble. He waved it off. But as he walked away, he couldn't shake the feeling. Wait a sec. Is it just me, or is she not hiding her presence properly? Earlier, I definitely sensed a trace of spiritual energy. Could she already be a pioneer? Then that whole summer camp excuse, was it actually just a cover? Suspicion planted, he left. Meanwhile, Linny pulled out her phone and hopped on her secret group chat. Linny, cousin seems nice. Doesn't look like he'll interfere with my activities. When do we move? The group instantly lit up. Greater than 18-year-old sultry woman, don't rush. Keep a low profile. Chaos everywhere. Pollution zones are getting claimed fast. Scammed in online romance for 50 cents, true. Last time at the underground river, 2 teams clashed. Some superpowered guy cut out a sun with 1 slash. Forced everyone else to retreat. 18-year-old sultry woman, 1 slash cut out the sun. Are you serious? Definitely an extreme young attribute. High-tier pioneer for sure. Scammed in online romance for 50 cents, it's real. I swear. Linny, that's why we must stay cautious. Spiritual energy revival isn't official yet. Everything's hidden. Who knows how many monster-level pioneers Zia country has. She closed the chat with a final note. Linny, alright, I'll wait for your signal. Then, thinking to herself. Forget it. I've just arrived. Better not cultivate right now. If cousin catches me, it'll be impossible to explain. 3 days later. Our hero was already regretting this. Co-living arrangement. Who would have thought my cousin would actually be a cultivation hazard? Every time he tried to meditate, she knocked. Every time he tried to breathe golden sun energy, the glow threatened to spill through the walls. Even worse, Linny had started cooking. Cousin, dinner's ready, she chirped. Tonight's menu, tomato beef stew, cold cucumber salad, and corn rib soup. Our hero sat down, impressed. Wow. You've been really considerate. Let me do the dishes. No need, she smiled. At least I can do this much while staying here. Too polite, too neat, like she's got housework OCD, he thought. But fine. Let her keep dropping her guard. Only then can I figure out who she really is. Just then, her phone rang. Seeing the caller, he teased. Really? Dinner's ready and you're ditching it for a friend's call? Before she could answer, he stood. I'll leave you two alone. I'm going back to my room. Linny opened her mouth, but he was already gone. She picked up the call. What did you say? Another major world shift tomorrow? She repeated, voice serious. After a pause. Okay. I'll be there by 3. Let's meet at the entrance of Donghua town. Outside the window, our hero crouched, eavesdropping like a pro. Donghua town? That trendy suburb spot? Just an hour away. Perfect. Inside, Linny began cultivating. Golden energy flared faintly around her. Our hero grinned in the shadows. Knew it. My cousin's a pioneer too. Already at 2-star Ghost Axe realm? That's crazy talent. No wonder she's weird. And this whole summer camp excuse? Definitely cover for the world shift. His eyes glinted. Every world shift is an opportunity. A new chance to grab techniques, power, treasures. Whatever appears in Donghua town, it's all mine. With that, he dashed off at full speed, so quickly Linny's eyes snapped open. A faint unease lingered. That was strange. Was someone watching me just now? The scene shifts to Donghua town, where we find Linny. Beside her stands a girl with the most tragic username in the entire group chat. Scammed in online romance for 50 cents. She wastes no time, leaning toward Linny with a teasing grin. So, you've been crashing at your cousin's place these past few days, right? Tell me honestly, hot or not? Linny, thinking of our mysterious protagonist, replies with all the seriousness of a witness giving testimony. Honestly, he's a good guy. Looks wise. Well, he's nothing extraordinary. Definitely not the kind of impressive man you'd swoon over. More like a pretty boy. Hearing this, scammed in online romance for 50 cents looks crushed. Well, that's a letdown. She mutters, as if she just discovered her favorite K-drama star was secretly bald. Before Linny can say more, another group member strides over. A self-proclaimed 18-year-old sultry woman, the kind who probably adds sultry to her username unironically. She smirks and says, Don't forget, Lindy once described herself as just an ordinary girl too. More members shuffle in, including a boy sitting a bit farther away who suddenly shouts like a bored dungeon master. Alright, since everyone's finally here, let's get down to the main issue. Linny interrupts, raising her hand like a schoolgirl in class. Wait. She's not coming again? The boy shakes his head, expression flat. Still only 6 of us. She's not coming. Sultry woman shrugs, already used to the absentee member's mystery. She's always been like this. Let's just move on. And so, the little band of pioneers heads off toward their destination, completely unaware that our true hero is lurking at a distance, watching quietly like a ninja stalker with better hair. As he observes, his spiritual sense picks up their energy. My cousin's team is pretty low-key. Weakest one's at 2-star Ghost Axe realm, that guy over there's at 3-star. And apparently they've got some powerful member who barely ever shows up. His gaze then shifts upward, to the mountain above Manhua town, where something truly bizarre is happening. A massive vine is descending from the sky. Not a thunderstorm, not an earthquake, just a giant green noodle from the heavens. Think Jack and the Beanstalk, except this thing doesn't bring magic harps or golden geese. It just exists. The vine doesn't release thunder. No blazing light. No destruction. It simply drifts in and out of reality, as though it's buffering on bad Wi-Fi. Lin Yi's team arrives at the site, staring up at the anomaly. My god. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. Sultry woman whispers, sounding less sultry and more terrified. Behind her, scammed an online romance for 50 cents bites her lip. Wait, maybe we shouldn't go any closer. Linny blinks. Why not? Because. The girl swallows hard. My whole body just went cold. You guys saw the internal forum rumors, right? Last time this vine showed up, a whole team tried to make contact. Strong pioneers, way above my level, but none of them came back. Not even bones left behind. The corrupted aura in the air presses down on them like a funeral dirge. Scammed an online romance for 50 cents clutches her head, spiraling into panic. This isn't just some random event. This is a high-level world anomaly. Unknown. Dangerous. Terrifying. I wanted to gamble like a pioneer, get rich or die trying, but the moment I saw this vine I know I'll die here. I want to withdraw. Her teammates sober up at her outburst. Lin Yi, ever the calm scholar, nods. You're right. We feel it too. This wood-type vine, it's strange. It feels like it's been drowned in the river of time, like all life has perished, vitality stripped away. Instead of giving energy, it wants to devour ours. She grips her hand tightly and adds solemnly. But this is the path of martial pioneers. Meanwhile, our hero, still watching from the mountain, grimaces. Out of all the anomalies I've seen, besides the dark attribute ones, this vine is the worst. It's supposed to be a plant, a symbol of vitality. But it feels dead. Like a corpse pretending to be alive. Back below, Linny rallies her team. Friends, we don't have much time. Let's not get reckless. Spread out, sense the energy, but stay within sight of each other. Don't wander too far. Obediently, the group disperses. Linny perches atop a tree branch, beginning her cultivation. Our hero nods approvingly. Not bad. She chose the optimal range, cautious but efficient. Truly worthy of being a top student. Moments later, Lin Yi's energy surges, spiraling into the sky. She's about to break through. Already reaching 3-star? My cousin really is a genius. Down below, her teammates cheer. 3-star Ghost Realm. But celebration is short-lived. The vine suddenly stirs. Its roots slither forward, homing in on them like a predator. The boy leading them pales. This is bad. The vine sensed us from this far away. Sultry woman gasps, voice trembling. It's coming straight for us. In an instant, the vine lashes out, snaring some of them and draining their energy like a mosquito with a gym membership. Run! Run for your lives! Scammed an online romance for 50 cents screams. Lin Yi's breakthrough caused too much disturbance. If that vine grabs us, we'll be drained to nothing. The vine slams against Lin Yi's protective shield. Cracks spiderweb across it. Panic erupts. Most of the team bolts. But sultry woman grabs scammed an online romance's wrist. No! If we run, Lin Yi will die. And what do you expect me to do? Scammed an online romance snaps back. Donate my spiritual energy so she can level up while I get turned into compost? No thanks. Ignoring her, sultry woman turns to the group. We can't abandon her. The boy leading them glares, cold and pragmatic. Don't be naive. Life and death are fate. Wealth is heaven's will. We're all just casual teammates here. If we don't leave now, we'll all die. Before he can finish, smack. Sultry woman slaps him across the face so hard his dignity flies off into another realm. To hell with you. I won't abandon my comrade. And with that, she charges toward Lin Yi, while the rest of the group flees in the opposite direction. Up in the mountains, our hero stood dramatically at a cliff's edge, gazing down at the chaos below like some tragic opera performer. His brows furrowed, his eyes sharp with urgency. My cousin probably doesn't even realize the danger she's in. He muttered with that trademark heroic concern. She's still just a student, and that vine's power, TCH, even I'm not sure I can handle it with my current strength. But, he gripped his sword tighter, his aura sparking to life. A promise is a promise. I swore to Auntie I'd look after her daughter, and if I fail now, she'll never let me eat dinner at her place again. With that terrifying motivation, he drew his heavy sword. Determination blazed in his eyes like a cultivation novel cover illustration. Meanwhile, below, a sultry beauty had already dashed in to save Lin Yi. With elegance that could make even a demon blush, she hacked her way through the vine, until, of course, the vine got annoyed and wrapped her up too, At the same time, Lin Yi's little shield shattered like cheap glassware, leaving her exposed. And just as the vine was about to serve Cousin Yi as a leafy snack, whoosh! Our hero dropped in from above, sword infused with blazing yang energy, and struck. His strike burned the vine instantly, the flames of his yang power so fierce that the vine shrieked like a cat in bathwater, retreating at once. The two teammates who had been halfway through their cowardly escape froze mid-run. Their jaws dropped. Wait, it's retreating? Holy, look at that glow. Is he another pioneer? Indeed, the hero's yang energy lit up the cavern like a heavenly disco ball. His aura was so overwhelming that one of the fleeing boys started having an existential crisis right there. He thought bitterly, I'm considered a prodigy. 3-star Ghost Axe realm in record time. Barely anyone in the country compares. Even Lin Yi isn't that far ahead of me. But this guy crushed me. Crushed us all. What even are we compared to him? Stars trying to shine under a blazing sun? More like glow sticks under a supernova. Meanwhile, the sultry woman shaded her eyes against the brilliance. That's pure yang attribute, she whispered in awe. Only something that high-tier could suppress a desolate vine. Of course it's him. And then, ding! A crisp system notification popped up in front of the hero. Detected extreme wood attribute. Initiating auto-writing. Processing complete. Before he could even sigh about how convenient the system was, wood energy surged into his body, filling him with vitality. A huge grin stretched across his face. Incredible! This wood attribute technique, it's basically a perpetual battery. As long as there's life nearby, I'll never run out of juice. Auntie, you can forget about me ever needing chicken soup again. The system wasn't done though. Another message flashed. Currently extracting secondary attribute, desolation. Warning, drains all surrounding life force. The hero's smile twitched. Then a powerful green aura burst from his body, pulsing with vitality and menace. No wonder this vine grew here, he mused grimly. If it had sprouted in a village, it would have drained miles of land dry. Tyrannical. Terrifying. And now it's mine. As he admired his new loot, the sultry woman stumbled toward him, her eyes wide, her voice trembling with gratitude. Thank you so much for saving us, big brother. If not for you, we would have surely died. How can we ever repay you? Our hero waved his hand casually, as if saving lives was just Tuesday. No need. I'll be going now. He turned away, his cloak, that he definitely didn't have before, flapping dramatically in an imaginary breeze. Inwardly, though, he was grinning like a thief. Heh, all I did was piggyback off their intel, kill one oversized vine, and now I've got infinite vitality and desolation aura. Honestly, I profited the most out of all this. As for their little squabbles? Not my circus, not my monkeys. Better to keep an eye on Cousin from now on. Behind him, the survivors could only watch in stunned silence. None dared to speak. Their pale faces showed it all, awe, fear, and the dawning realization that they just met a walking cheat code disguised as a man. Our hero leapt away, mind clearer than a monk after 5 cups of green tea. Danger, after all, has a funny way of stripping away masks, showing who's truly dependable and who's just good at posing in team photos. And this team? Well, let's just say a sack of drunk chickens would have been more organized. Left behind, scammed an online romance for 50 cents, yes, that's his name and yes, it's tragic, fidgeted nervously and asked the captain. He left so quickly. So, what do we do now? The captain sighed, the kind of sigh that suggested both disappointment and constipation, before replying. What's the matter? Regretting not helping him earlier? Too late now. With him gone, Lin Yi's advanced to the 3rd level. Our best option is to cling to this team like leeches at a spa. His gaze drifted to Lin Yi, who was deep in cultivation. She sat serene, wrapped in a faint shield of aura that looked sturdy enough to repel mosquitoes but already had a few cracks. Still, moments later, boom, breakthrough achieved. Energy surged around her like she just downed 3 cans of Red Bull. The 18-year-old sultry teammate practically launched herself forward, squealing. Lin Yi! You finally woke up! The captain gave her a glance, then leaned toward nervous 50 cents, whispering like a conspirator in a cheap drama. Now it depends on her. If she's rational, she won't burn bridges with us. But forget that for now. Focus on that mysterious man. He's the real problem. Lin Yi blinked, groggy from her cultivation nap, and stared at the scene. Why are 2 of our teammates dead? And also, why do these vines look like they auditioned for a horror movie? Before anyone could answer, a wave of scorching yang energy blasted from behind. Even at a distance, it felt like someone had turned the spiritual thermostat to oven. The captain stepped up, looking all serious, and said, Allow me to explain. And explain he did. Later, Lin Yi walked home, brain buzzing with the captain's words. A mysterious powerhouse had appeared, flat in danger, and left without so much as a business card. Supposedly, even the feral vine that had been terrorizing them now floated in the sky like a chastened balloon, refusing to come back down. The vine scared like a chicken, the captain had said with reverence. And that man was a monster. Shaken, Lindy reached her apartment. She opened the door and found, surprise, surprise, our hero waiting with a smile as casual as if he'd just come back from buying dumplings. "You're back," he said warmly. But spotting her pale face, he asked, "You okay? You look like you just binge-watched a tragedy marathon." Lindy quickly fibbed. "Just tired from studying." The hero nodded. "Good effort. Should we order takeout?" She agreed and scurried to her room, closing the door like she was hiding state secrets. Collapsing on her bed, she muttered, "Breakthroughs are exhausting. Wielding the divine axe takes more mental power than cramming a semester's worth of physics overnight." She scrolled her phone. Because naturally, enlightenment and doom didn't stop anyone from checking notifications. That's when a new message from Jialan appeared. "If any trace of that powerhouse appears, notify me immediately." Lenny froze. Jialan never messaged. Carefully, she typed back, "Got it. By the way, do you think the person who saved us was the one from the Dark River Molten Dragon incident? And if so, why would he save us?" Her fingers hesitated, then hit send. Meanwhile, cultivation news headlines popped up. "Breaking news, a tribute god returns. That slash pierced the sun. Heaven's light devoured in white blaze." Lin Yi's jaw dropped. If these reports were true, then her mysterious savior was less, senior, and more. Walking apocalypse. Meanwhile, outside, our hero had already hopped onto his trusty bicycle, yes, a cultivator's weapon of choice apparently, and pedaled off, scheming. Lin Yi's guard should be down now. She won't suspect me watching her. Next step, the desolation attribute. He mused as he rode, narrowly dodging pedestrians. The desolation attribute was plant-like yet sinister, corrosive even, basically the bad boy of attributes. Jamming it straight into his body might turn him into spiritual Swiss cheese, especially since it clashed with the thunder attribute. No, the best way is through something like that ghost vine. It evolved on its own when the spiritual energy revived. That's what birthed desolation. His eyes gleamed. He knew exactly where to go. With a grin, he shifted gears and sped through the streets like a delivery rider on a mission. Destination, the city's forest park. He strolled into the park grinning like a man about to pull off a magic trick. Leaning close, he whispered to himself, "Time to pick a plant that vibes with my spiritual energy. Come on, lucky green soulmate, show yourself." With a flourish, he unleashed his wood attribute aura. A soft green glow burst from him, spreading out like an eager spotlight. Instantly, flowers, shrubs, and even a couple of old trees leaned toward him as though he just announced he was handing out free snacks. The plants weren't just reacting, they were begging. Leaves trembled, petals quivered, and the grass even looked like it wanted to crawl closer. Our hero raised an eyebrow. "So this is how plants flirt back with spiritual energy? Bold move, Mother Nature." "But," he frowned. Still not enough. Determined to turn up the volume, he poured out more energy. And then, bam, a tiny wildflower in the grass began glowing brighter than the rest, pulsing like a disco ball at a spiritual rave. Curious, he crouched down. Could it be the chosen one? He stretched out a finger, gently touching the flower. To his surprise, the little blossom curled around his fingertip, clinging like a clingy puppy. Our hero blinked. "Wait, it's nuzzling me? This is a flower, not a golden retriever." The flower shivered happily, like it couldn't get enough of his aura. Stroking it gently, he whispered, "Out of this entire forest, you're the one who loves me most. Perfect candidate to carry the desolation attribute." He grinned. "I'm ready. Are you ready?" The flower bobbed up and down like it was saying, "Heck yes." Closing his eyes, he funneled energy into it. Ding! System notification, embed desolation attribute into this object? Yes. The moment his power flowed in, the flower lit up like a firecracker. Leaves sprouted, its size swelled, and a frightening aura spilled out, rolling over the garden like a toxic wave. The lush green paradise shriveled instantly. Trees wilted, bushes withered, and within seconds the whole place looked like it had been fast-forwarded straight into post-apocalypse mode. Our hero gawked. 3 seconds. It only took 3 seconds for this thing to drain the whole park? That's way too overbearing. This isn't a flower, it's a demon in disguise. Panicking, he lunged forward to yank the thing out of the soil. But just as quickly, he froze. Wait, if I keep this up, the Spirit Energy Association will be on me faster than loan sharks on payday. This is the city center. Of course it's crawling with surveillance. Still, he ripped it out anyway. Yet even rootless, the flower refused to chill. It kept absorbing energy from everything around like a toddler with an endless juice box. He stared in disbelief. Even without soil, it's still eating? Can it survive like this? But now its greed was oddly tender, like gentle sipping instead of crazed slurping. He smiled faintly, stroking its leaves. Unbelievable. Just a wildflower before, but now, after embedding an attribute, it's evolving. Like I've unlocked its Pokemon evolution stage. Then, flash. Blinding light flooded the area, and a siren wailed. Warning, warning, abnormal value exceeded. Warning. Our hero's grin froze. Crap. He clenched his jaw. They noticed. Time to run before I end up as Exhibit A in some research lab. Without another thought, he bolted out of the park at full speed, clutching the overpowered flower like a man making off with stolen treasure. Meanwhile, alarms blared across the city. Inside the Reiki Plant Research Department, chaos erupted. Scientists spilled their coffee, slapped on their wristbands, and scrambled into protective suits. Abnormal value skyrocketing! One technician shouted. What the heck happened out there? The head researcher slammed the desk, voice booming. Seal the park immediately! Nobody enters. Nobody leaves! Within minutes, a whole squad in white hazmat suits was charging toward the scene. The moment they arrived, one of the researchers checked his instrument, and his face turned the color of spoiled tofu. This is terrifying, he stammered. Earlier at King Cheng's North Gate, the readings had spiked at 810. When they encountered the Dark River Molten Dragon, it had barely hit 25. But here... Exactly! Another member cut in, his voice shaking. Once spiritual energy concentration hits 10, the military usually storms in with tanks and heavy artillery. And this park? It never even came close to 10 before today. Every member clutched a device that looked like a love child of a Geiger counter and a selfie stick. One of them jabbed a probe into the soil and muttered, bewildered. Strange. Humidity, normal. Ground moisture, normal. Sunlight, also normal. Radiation levels? Nothing unusual. But these plants. He bent down, staring at the shriveled grass. It's like their life force was vacuumed out in seconds. The group exchanged uneasy glances. Someone whispered the question that was sitting in everyone's throat. What kind of attribute could do this? Before anyone could answer, a man sprinted over like he'd just seen his ex with someone richer. His face was pale as death. Don't move forward. Don't touch it. This is the desolation attribute. The word detonated like a grenade. Faces blanched. Knees wobbled. One poor intern nearly fainted. Desolation attribute? Someone croaked. What's that supposed to mean? The team's old professor, beard flowing like he'd stepped straight out of a cultivation painting, cleared his throat dramatically. You've all heard the legends of the sky-hanging vines, haven't you? Every pair of eyes froze. Someone muttered in horror. You don't mean the demonic vine? The one that was classified as an A-level mutation? The professor nodded grimly. Yes. Because of its extreme danger, it was given A-rank status. Countless explorers entered its domain, only to vanish without leaving behind so much as a tooth. Its true terror lies in this attribute, desolation. It drains the life from everything around it. That is the nightmare we face. The word sank in like a bucket of ice water. One trembling rookie turned to the professor. Teacher, if I'd taken one more step earlier, would I already be, fertilizer? The old man's gaze hardened. Yes. Once a plant awakens the desolation attribute, it creates a death domain. Anyone inside will have their life force completely sucked dry. I've read the records. In Kong City's ancient tree zone, one decay tree corrupted the entire forest into a forbidden wasteland. Any creature that entered was instantly pierced through, drained, and spat out like yesterday's tea leaves. The group fell into grim silence. Even the wind seemed to hush in respect. But then, a hand clapped down on the professor's shoulder. He spun around, and nearly tripped on his own beard. Major Han! The man in question, dressed in military garb so crisp it could slice bread, stepped forward with ice in his eyes. All researchers, put on protective suits. Follow us into the contaminated zone. Soldiers rushed in, handing out masks and hazard suits like it was Black Friday at the Apocalypse Mall. They combed the forest, scanning every corner. No trace of the desolation source here, one soldier shouted. Could it be moving? Another muttered nervously. Weren't we told only the vine could? Before panic could spiral, another voice cried out. The desolation aura is decreasing. It's already dropped to 25. Meanwhile, at the forest's heart, Major Han and Su Qinging weren't wearing protective gear at all. Cool as cucumbers in a freezer, they knelt, pressing their palms to the soil. Their spiritual energy spread underground like a radar sweep. It led them to a single spot, then abruptly stopped. Both froze. Su Qinging's voice quivered. That place, that's where. Enough. Han cut her off, his tone grave. Someone dug it out. The researchers gasped. Someone whispered. Dig it out? Impossible. No one survives touching a desolation plant. Han's eyes narrowed. He whipped out a device, the screen glowing ominously. Big data analysis confirms this. The same person has appeared at both previous anomaly sites. The screen lit up with an image. A familiar face. Su Qinging stiffened. Her heart skipped. It was him. Han's voice dropped low. This man may be the pioneer you encountered before. His identity must be confirmed. Su Qinging stared at the image for a long, quiet moment, then murmured firmly. Good. That's how it should be. 2 hours later. Our hero, blissfully ignorant of the military hunt, sat at home humming while potting a flower. The same flower. He stroked its leaves like a proud parent. My first time raising a flower, huh? Can't just let you sit in a plastic bag. Here's your own little pot. A proper home. The plant sat quietly, now branded with the terrifying desolation attribute. The hero chuckled. You're my most reliable helper now. And with that plain face of yours, nobody will ever suspect you're secretly the grim reaper of greenery. His expression turned sharp. In real battles, raw strength is one thing. But hidden trump cards? That's where you win. Ding! His phone buzzed. Caller ID, Old Wang. He blinked. Old Wang? That brat from next door? The one who joined the army 3 years ago and vanished? Memories surfaced, desks shared since childhood, dumb pranks, fights over snacks. He grinned and picked up. So you finally remembered me, huh? On the other end, Old Wang's cheerful voice boomed. Meet me at the old place. Got a big secret for you. Don't faint when you hear it. Click. Call ended. The hero stared at his phone, scratching his head. What's that guy plotting now? Cut to Old Wang, very much not plotting pranks, standing stiffly at attention in front of Su Qinging and several officers. He reported crisply. Mission complete. He took the bait. But if he's not the target, can you guarantee his safety? He's my friend. The officer beside Su Qinging didn't even blink. Your mission is all that matters. If he's not the one, then treat it like a friendly reunion. Nothing more.
And this is how this part of this manhwa ends. Also in the future I will be bringing more and more exciting videos. Please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, hit the like button and stay tuned until the next video.